Alright, so the Brave heroes were recently finally revealed in all their inaccuracy. Being the biggest Ephraim fan in the world, don't at me, or do and I'll prove it, I've been waiting on this for around half a year. My favorite fictional character got his own Brave version. I was incredibly excited. Then they gave us this. Now, to say this is entirely unexpected is inaccurate. A lot of people assumed Ephraim would get Garm at some point because Irica got Gleipnir. Though Irica got Gleipnir before Ephraim was even a winner of Choose Your Legends. So unless they fixed the results, I don't see why they chose this version of Ephraim to use Garm. I mean, the versions of the twins that use the grotto weapons are as polar opposite in movement types as they could be, so they don't even synergize well. They could have at least given Ephraim Wessel's outfit and made him a cavalier, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So Ephraim is the Lance Lord of the series. There are other lords in the series who use a lance, but no one makes the lance theirs like Ephraim does. In Sacred Stones he can't use any weapon type besides the lance. Now if this were a seasonal variant, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Seasonals obviously use whatever weapon type regardless of accuracy. Some people may be confused as to why him not using a lance is such a big deal, so allow me to explain. It isn't just the fact that Ephraim can only use a lance. His character is fundamentally tied to the weapon type. This is most apparent in his supports with Wessel, his lance instructor. In their A support, Ephraim talks about how he wants to be the greatest spearman in Magvel, and how he gave up on other weapon types after seeing how they fared against spears. The idea that he would suddenly decide to take on any other weapon type is ludicrous and starkly against his character. It would be one thing if it were not so deeply rooted in who he is, but Ephraim is a lancer. It's a fundamental aspect of his character. He is more connected to his own weapon type than any other lord in the series. Hector can use swords on promo, but Ephraim never touches another weapon type whatsoever. Garm is the sacred black axe of Grotto. It's a weapon that is very closely associated with Ephraim's lance instructor, Wessel. While Wessel joins with an A rank in the entire weapon triangle, a detail that closely ties with his character, he joins with a silver axe equipped as his primary weapon. While he can train any weapon type to S rank, the game implies for you to stick with axes specifically for Garm. Garm is seen by many as Wessel's axe, and for good reason. He's the only playable general of Grotto, one of the Imperial Three. His title is even Obsidian, which, in case you didn't know, is black, and Garm is the black axe. You get where I'm going with this. And while Garm could still be theoretically used by Wessel heroes, it was still created specifically for Armor Ephraim. And that's insulting to both Ephraim and Wessel, as Ephraim doesn't use axes, so he has no business using an S-rank axe in the first place, and Garm should belong to Wessel. Gleipnir was one thing. It should have been on Null, but it isn't as fundamentally tied to him as Garm is to Wessel. I recall someone making the case when Mage Irica was revealed that Gleipnir shouldn't be on Null anyway, because legendary weapons are generally only given to royals, nobles, or generals. That's already faulty logic, but I bring it up because even that cannot apply here. Wessel is a general of Grotto. He's extremely important to the Empire, so there's no reason he shouldn't have Garm. It was practically conceptualized for Wessel. Moving on from Garm, though, why did they choose to dress Ephraim up like Fado? I understand it's his father, and that was the central theme for the last Brave Heroes, but Fado serves almost no purpose in Sacred Stones. He exists only to die. We never once see Ephraim interact with him on screen. It's bizarre to choose this as there's so little connecting them other than blood. Dressing him as Wessel would have made a lot more sense, as we see Ephraim and Wessel on screen together often, and they have some fairly deep conversations. Their ace support is one of the best in the game. This is a game with a lot of really great supports with a lot of depth. At least if he was dressed as Wessel, his using Garm might make some sense. If they had to dress him up as Fado, why not give him a sword like Fado uses in his official artwork? He also comes with a silver sword equipped when you get him in the Creature campaign. They could have just took his sword straight from the artwork and called it King Sword or something. Or even better, why not just give Ephraim a lance? Votto has an A rank in all weapon types in the Creature campaign, so it's not like he's extremely connected to a single weapon type. He's somewhat connected to swords due to his artwork, and Ephraim is connected to spears, so choosing axes is literally the most illogical decision here. It's almost as though they wanted Ephraim to represent both Votto and Wessel, which is a cool concept, but clearly it has no merit, as Ephraim doesn't mention Wessel at all in his lines, but talks about Votto non-stop. Perhaps it's unkind of me to say, but I would have rather Brave Ephraim been based on a character who actually serves some purpose aside from dying. So is Brave Ephraim all bad? No, not really. There are some positives to him, even if he's obviously fundamentally flawed due to weapon choice. First of all, his neutral art is stellar. Sachiko does a great job as always, though I find his attacking artworks and damaged art to look rather awkward. His neutral art is my favorite of all of Ephraim's, but legendary takes it in the other three categories. If only he was holding a spear. On top of that, Greg Chun has really come into the role of Ephraim.
This axe is known as Garm. It's a weapon from Leon's homeland.
Anyone who spoke to me back when regular Ephraim was first revealed, way back in the day, knows I had some very strong opinions about Greg Chun voicing Ephraim. They weren't very good either.
No time to waste.
While I still don't think it's a perfect representation of Ephraim by any means, I think Greg Chun is doing a very good job overall, and I'd rather him be voicing Ephraim than many others. And really, the perfect Ephraim voice I always gave him in my head probably just doesn't really exist. And Chun does well. I still don't think Chun's performance as the original Ephraim was very spot on, but in both of the variants since, I think Chun has improved significantly. For what it's worth, Brave Ephraim is also a really good unit. Garm plus Special Fighter plus Ignis is one hell of a drug. On that note, wow, Special Fighter's busted. So am I disappointed with Brave Ephraim? Yes. Fundamentally, Ephraim should always use a spear outside of potential seasonal variants. And what he's trying to represent seems all over the place. Am I going to hate this version and shun it, pretending it doesn't exist? No. It is still Ephraim, even if it's inaccurate. I will still use it. And it was still the one I chose as my free summon. Ephraim is still and always will be my favorite fictional character of all time. And I'll embrace this for what it is, regardless of my disappointment. Really, I might not be so horribly disappointed if not for the fact that this is the version I devoted all my votes to in both Choose Your Legends voting events, and then proceeded to wait half a year for. If it was just some random alt, it would still be disappointing, but not nearly as much. And hey, I once said I'd rather get an inaccurate Brave Ephraim if it meant getting Ephraim in Smash Ultimate, so at least I have that to look forward to.